Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Half a Nice Day podcast with your host, Joshua.
And Janine.
And we are very excited for this episode. But first off, we have great news because we finally have our podcast art.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. It looks amazing.
So excited to put it out, actually. It looks really good. So it was done by our good friend, by my good friend, Cholo. Shout out to Cholo. His Instagram handle is depictdxb. So if you guys want to follow him and connect with him, if you want any of your artworks done, he does a lot of graffiti, just multimedia art. He's really good at it. Anyway, I digress. I reached out to him and I asked him if he could create our podcast artwork, and he did such an amazing job. I'm so excited. He did
an amazing job, and it's everything we wanted because we gave him the outline, what he wanted, the color scheme, everything.
Yeah.
And beautifully done.
Yeah.
Like a week or two later, and we got our final product just today, and it's really very exciting that we're really pushing through with this, and we're on episode 3 right now.
I know. Episode 3, can you believe it?
Yeah, I don't think we'd go past episode 1. But there is research done that shows that podcasting episodes usually stop by episode 8 if you're not really into it.
Really?
Yeah. So they say that most startup podcasts, they only manage to get to episode 8. Otherwise, the podcasters lose track or they get into some other activity or something. So.
Yeah. And they lose interest.
Yeah. So if you hear episode 9 from us, guys, that means we are going strong.
That means we made it. Okay, so you have 5 more to go. And then we can just split this up, right?
Yeah. So let's break that chain and stop it at 9.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Just, to say that we've gotten over the 8th mark.
The 8th hump.
And then we got through to 9 and we're like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Okay, so shout out to Cholo, and you can find him on Instagram at depictdxb. That's DEPIKT DXB.
And while we're talking about Instagram, actually, our main topic for today is about social media. And how, I know, the SOCMED.
SOCMED. That's apparently what they call it in Philippines, according to Janine.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled. SOCMED. So how else would you pronounce that, right? SOCMED. SOCMED, you think?
I like SOCMED better.
Yeah, it sounds like a medical term to me.
It sounds like when you get a sock stuck on your foot. And or maybe you put on your socks and then you suddenly swell up in your feet. And then you go to the emergency room oh my god, doctor, we have another case of SOCMED. It's like, oh no, and let's get this guy safe back to his family.
Get him to the ER now. What's wrong with us?
I don't know.
Let's get our lives together.
Us.
Yeah, nothing. Zero, nada. Anyway, social media. So how did it affect our lives during COVID? And how much, I for one have I've stopped social media for a while, if that's even a thing. Is it right English?
Yeah, it is.
I've stopped.
They call it a digital detox.
Well, okay, there's a term for it. But I've actually digitally detoxed myself out of social media for a while.
Was it a painful process? Was it difficult for you to do that?
I think it was a difficult process because it was right smack in the middle of COVID while we were on lockdown here in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my only means of communication to some of my friends. Well, most of my friends, majority of my friends, other than WhatsApp. But also it was an enlightening experience, to be honest. Because I just felt like during that time I was having a lot of anxiety attacks, being alone in the apartment and then seeing everyone's stories, seeing everyone going through the same thing, and then seeing a lot of negative news. It was too much for me to handle.
It was very overwhelming, I can imagine.
It was very overwhelming. And so I had to distance myself from that. And I think I was out for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
And was it like cold turkey? Did you decide, okay, from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to limit or refrain from using social media?
Yeah. So I was watching Matt Diavela's video on, I think he quit social media for a month.
Mm-hmm.
It was an experiment. So he is a very famous YouTuber, and he does a lot of experiments. And one of the experiment that he tried was to not just limit, but really get himself out of social media for 30 days. And when he talked about, the benefits of it, I was like, you know what? Let me try it. But I couldn't do the whole 30 days. I did 2 weeks. And that was enough for me to understand that I really have to limit my social media intake.
I can imagine how hard it must have been for him because he's a creator.
I know.
And that's like, okay, other than YouTube, then he must have had other platforms where he really pushes out his content.
Yes. And that's what made me say, you know what? If a content creator, a very famous content creator who I'm sure relies on social media so much to get his presence out there, he was able to get himself out for 30 days. I'm sure I will be able to do that as well.
I think anyone and everyone should do it at one point of their time.
Yeah, I mean, who am I to, oh my gosh, I got myself out of social media. You're not a celebrity, Janine. Get yourself back to earth.
You're not an Instagram model for Tea Talks Tea. You're not a cam girl. You're not.
But it was more of my means of communication to friends more than, a social media platform.
Exactly. And for me, how I see it, I have like classified my friends into a certain way. So there's friends who I WhatsApp, who like my closest friends who I WhatsApp, who have my number. Okay. And there are friends who don't have my WhatsApp, and the easiest way to reach out to someone is through social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe if you're looking for a job. But
yeah, LinkedIn nowadays, it's like Facebook as well.
But LinkedIn is growing at a very high rate,
especially during COVID. Because and now as well.
Unfortunately, due to the market conditions, also people are looking for jobs, and they're all turning to LinkedIn.
Yeah, but
some have been successful though.
Yeah, but still, the number one social media platform is Facebook. Still,
is it?
Yeah, it's Facebook.
Okay, I thought it was Instagram.
Really? It's Facebook.
Yeah,
because of the high number of social media users in East Asia, and most of them still use Facebook. Instagram is number one in the US.
Okay.
But then so Asia,
it's divided by geography then.
Yes.
Okay.
But then Asia, you still have Facebook.
Yeah, Asia is the most populated continent, so that explains it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
And now that we're in the mood of sharing fun facts, another fun fact, since we're both half Filipinos, is that Philippines is not the largest, but the number one in terms of hours of usage of the internet.
Really?
So the average usage time is 5 hours
per day.
No
way.
Of internet. Okay, not exclusively to social media, but a huge chunk of it is for social media. But how much would you guess Filipinos use the internet in a day? Like how many hours?
Maybe half their day?
Half their day?
Like 12 hours in a day.
Come on, it's a lot, 12 hours. But you're very close. It's 10 hours.
That's still a lot.
10 hours.
You know what I
10 hours and 2 minutes to be exact.
2 minutes? What do you do with 2 minutes? Wishing their husbands and wives good night. Because most of them are OFW, so they might be in a different country.
True.
But what I think about why it's really high is because in Philippines also we have Metro Manila, which is where most people work, but unfortunately it's relatively expensive to live there. So they commute from a province which is maybe like an hour or two away, and what they do, maybe they're during the 2-hour commute to work, 2-hour commute going back, they must be like stuck on some social media platform like Instagram,
or
Facebook,
traffic in EDSA,
going on Twitter. Because EDSA does have a Twitter page which gives them live updates about the traffic situation over there. Yeah.
You know more about me than
Philippines represent.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But yeah, it could be a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. So. Can be gaming as well. There's a lot of like gamers in the Philippines.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to play Farmville with me? Can you plant some chickens? Not plant some chickens.
Yeah, let's plant some chickens, Joshua.
I'm not like mixing Plants vs. Zombies and Farmville.
I know you want to be a vegan one day, but
Yes.
until then,
Until
you
then,
don't plant your chickens, okay?
if I could have my chicken and eat it too.
Fine.
Yeah.
Until then,
Until then,
don't plant
you
your
don't
chickens.
plant your chickens.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, imagine 5 hours in a day is already the daily that was your headset.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Like, what? Did someone walk into this
Guys,
building?
it's like 2 a.m. in the morning right now. And Joshua is being freaked out with every
I'm not
noise
freaked
that he
out,
hears.
okay? I am a
Writing.
man. I don't fear anything.
Okay.
I should put up in the
There's
last
a cockroach
episode.
right next to you.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break while I cry.
A flying
I love how
earpiece,
this is
to be
connected
exact.
to our last episode as well. About fears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. One of your I wouldn't say fears, but you're really scared of insects.
Not really scared, just normal scared, if that's a thing.
Really?
Like, my fear threshold of insects
Yeah.
is at 50%.
Really?
So I could either fight or flight. So I will either fight the insect or fly away.
Yeah, so
Like an insect.
okay. So one of the first few times that I've met Joshua, we were at
The park.
the park randomly. We met there. Hey Joshua, what are you doing?
I'm just planting my chicken here. Can you leave me alone?
And there were beetles around. So
They were not beetles. They were called poisonous
What?
insects.
Really? It was just a normal beetle,
No,
like
no.
minding
I
its
could
own.
see the tail, and it
Yeah.
had a needle.
A tail. Okay.
Yeah.
What was
And
this?
it was
A
guys.
wasp?
I'm not kidding. It's the size of my face, and I have a very big face.
Okay, stop exaggerating. It's the size of my thumb.
And it spoke.
What did it say?
Stop planting your chickens here. This is my turf.
This is private property.
You are trespassing. You know, we're straying so much from our social media. Now we're just like, what noise does insects make? Okay, guys,
We
but
are the guardians of this park. We're paid by the government.
did you pay your 5 dirhams entrance fee? Show me your ticket.
But guys, seriously,
Okay.
he did like a karate move when this.
Okay, you can speak.
I'm not
I don't-
lying, right? Okay.
You're not lying. That's
So there was this
100% true.
beetle, guys. It was the size of my thumb, okay? And it was minding its own business, just going by its day, doing its own beetle thing in its beetle world. And it started flapping its wings. It wanted to fly, just,
Beetles, they fly?
yeah,
Okay.
it did.
Yeah, this one was flying. Yeah,
Remember?
Yeah.
So it started flying away. It was probably just having fun, like, wee, I'm flying, And Joshua started overreacting.
It's not overreacting. That's how a sane person would react.
Yeah, really? You started whipping out a karate chop move?
Yeah?
Yeah?
That's what normal
And you
people do in these
jumped.
situations. I didn't jump.
You did. You jumped and you pushed me forward. Like
It's your time to shine. Janine, do your thing.
Janine,
This is all
you
your
know
jiu-jitsu
jujitsu.
trainings have led you to this moment. Protect me.
Now I know when worst comes to worst, Josh will just shove me towards danger.
Yeah, and I'll run away. Flee the scene.
Yeah.
No trace of me.
Okay. Now I know. Thank you so much. That is our time, guys. And it was very nice.
I hope you learned a lot about social media through
Yeah.
Joshua's beetle incident.
Yeah.
And okay, but we digress a lot. Let us go back to this topic. Okay, so social media.
Okay, anyway, going back to the topic of the average usage of internet daily, 5 hours versus 10 hours from Filipinos. So that's a lot of hours spent on the internet. And I'm sure, as I said earlier, majority of it would be on social media. Facebook, I would say. Actually, because we're in the UAE, it is it's the country with the highest active social networking penetration. So 99% of the population in UAE have social media.
99%?
99%.
Even the Bedouins?
Maybe.
But
maybe.
It might be true, but
Yeah.
99, because I think that's really a lot.
Yeah.
But I did also read something which is quite similar, where it said that 80% of women
Yeah.
check social media for an item before they purchase it. Maybe you can fall into that, like, oh, I want to get this new GoPro or something like that. Let me check. Okay, we'll see GoPro videos on Instagram or Facebook or check pages.
Yeah.
So I think that's really true.
I do that a lot, especially with techie items.
Yeah, you can just easily put a hashtag. So like shot on iPhone, if you want to see the like a later stage of an iPhone.
Yeah.
And its picture quality.
Yeah.
So that might come into play in certain stuff like that. And it's I don't know why it's women in particular, because I'm pretty sure men do the exact same thing. But maybe there's no data around it yet.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting, because I do that, but mostly on YouTube is considered a social media platform, is it?
YouTube, yeah.
Or
it is a
like
content
video?
creator space where people can get together.
Yeah. But I do that a lot. Like, for example, these mics that we're talking into, I had to research about it and I had to look at reviews as well. So I'm sure I fall into that 80%.
Yeah, all of us, I'm sure, are guilty of it.
And I'm sure you too. Because it's 80% of women, right?
80%
women, yeah. So you fall into the category.
Good one. Funny.
Anyway, those are my fun facts. I think I can attest to that because my family as well are always on social media.
Do you have one of those families where like you go out for dinner?
Yeah.
And everyone's glued to their phone for a moment of time until someone acknowledges it?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, everyone, we're out here today for dinner, so get off your phone.
Yes. But sometimes that happens. So every weekend I would be in my parents' house and everyone will be in the kitchen after eating lunch. You know, you'll have tea and everyone's sitting around talking. And then suddenly one will start on their phone and then another one and another one. So everyone would be on their phones until someone else would realize, like, guys, what is happening? And we joke around. We're like, is this an internet shop? Is this an internet cafe? And then everyone would just be like, tick, 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 on their phones.
Yeah, guys, have you seen a new Kim Kardashian post?
Yeah, no, not like that.
So it's always like that. So I when I'm with my friends, someone would say, oh, did you see this new thing? And then I was like, oh, what? I got to see it. And so then everyone
starts looking into their phones. That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. But for families, I would say it's more of having the chat groups, the family chat groups, and everyone would be like, oh, have you seen your tita's message? Or have you seen a photo of your cousin? Oh, have you seen your Lola went to blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, I haven't, because I'm off social media for 2 weeks now.
But now you're not, so.
Now I'm not, but I'll talk about it later in our handy advice. I actually have a limit on my social media usage in a day. Because again, during COVID, I realized I've been using social media so much.
You know, that's another reason for everyone out there, I'm off Facebook permanently. I have no plans of going back, and this has been for more than 5 years now.
Wow.
Initially it started off as like with a social experiment, see how I feel. But eventually I decided, okay, I'm so much better off without Facebook. I used to wake up every day tired because the last 30 minutes of my day I would just spend endlessly scrolling through Facebook. Exactly. Then Instagram came along a few years later.
Yeah.
And that's what re-triggered my social media addiction. I wouldn't say addiction, but I did spend a very good part of my day on social media.
Yeah.
And I realized it early on as well after spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
And I did a pros and cons list of why I should leave it or why I should stay.
Yeah.
And
that's a good thing to do, though. Like,
making a list. Perfect. Yeah.
You have to make a list. And I mean, for Filipinos, Facebook is huge. You know, getting yourself off of Facebook is quite a huge thing, I would say.
It is, and I did get questioned a lot because my whole family is on Facebook.
That's the thing. The reason why it's big for us, it's not because we're getting out of it because it's such a huge part of our lives, but it's like cutting your communication with your family. Yeah,
they will think it in a negative way because like, so you don't want to talk to me anymore or something like that. No, it's nothing personal, guys.
Yeah.
So for me, Facebook was really toxic. That's how I really felt about Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not bad-mouthing Facebook in any way. It's an amazing platform for creators or people who want to push their content out there.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Instagram. I really understand the importance of social media in our digital age today. Especially when it comes to stuff like you want to know more about a product or you want to reach a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now, every day goes through word of mouth. Like when Janine and I were starting our podcast, we even asked friends, what's the best microphone or the best laptop?
Best setup,
Exactly, the best app to edit our podcast. So, word of mouth really plays a big role in social media. And that's one of the really amazing benefits of social media, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's when I did the pros and cons list of my Instagram. Like, if should I keep it or not? And I decided that I would quit social media indefinitely. So that lasted 8 months.
Okay. This was 5 years ago.
No, this is for my Instagram.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
so Instagram I deleted around November, December.
Okay.
I recently got back like a week ago.
Yeah.
And to be honest, on the first day I did get it back, I was very overwhelmed, and I felt I was back to my old roots because
you were anxious.
Super, like the moment I got it, checking each story one by one that pops up, seeing some friends who I haven't checked in a while, and I'm not kidding. I spent like at least 1 to almost 2 hours, maybe. I can't remember the exact time, but I was just glued to like checking on my friends, and then I remembered, oh crap, this is the same reason why I left.
You left. Yeah.
Instagram.
Ooh.
And I did have like in my pros and cons list. So like one of the pros was a way to connect with friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But that's where I came into play, where my thought process was like, okay, everyone you know or everyone you care about they can easily reach you on WhatsApp.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and the other one was just to be updated with like current trends.
Yeah.
And memes.
Just to know what's happening. What's popping.
Exactly. When you say, oh, Kim Kardashian broke the internet. Of course, the first place you wouldn't go to Google search and type Kim Kardashian breaks the internet. Yeah, obviously you'd go to Instagram and see what the first 5 posts are.
Yeah.
Especially if you're following like big entertainment pages.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. Like, so even that and memes and just tagging people in memes.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the cons were obviously over there.
Do you have a longer cons list than your pros list?
I did. Like, okay, so my pros was 2.
Yeah. And
my cons were actually 3. So one of them was which I'm sure everyone can relate to, is for validation.
Oh. Yeah.
So Janine must be no stranger to this.
Yeah. Because we're both middle children.
We are both middle children. And I want to see... And to be honest, I did have a good like to follower ratio.
Okay.
So at least 1/3 of my followers would like a picture. And I'm like, okay, that makes me content. That's good enough. That's good enough ratio for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, I would catch myself doing things only to please the internet people.
You know what? I've never thought of it that way. I'm sorry. I'm just going to backtrack a bit.
Okay, go for it.
A like to follow ratio? Who are you?
Come on, I like to analyze my profile. I
want to
analyzing my profile really well, but then I'm thinking, why am I setting up? Yeah, why am I basing myself on an internet persona?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. There's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I have to try this restaurant just to put this post up on my Instagram.
Yeah. And then when you're there, you're like, let me just take a bunch of pictures.
Exactly. Like my phone would eat
before
2 pictures.
Eating.
Exactly.
And then everything is now cold. And when you eat it, everything is soggy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it is, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Maybe more some than not.
But hashtag do it for the gram, right?
Do it for the gram, you know?
We all do that though. Come on. If there's a beautiful setting on the table laid with like a lot of good food and beautifully plated, dishes, you're like, you know what? Let me take a picture so that I can put it on my gram.
Yeah, and like hashtag blessed or hashtag dinner today.
Yeah. And then you tag the restaurant that you're in.
Exactly. So there are 2 kinds of people. Some people who would take it like, oh wow, I really want to join you one day for dinner. But I was unfortunately thinking of it in a very negative way, where I would just catch myself doing these things just to please the internet people. And obviously it did get to me because I'm like, okay, so I would start eating and then I would check my story again. How many people seen it already?
Yeah.
Oh, like, 50 people saw it and no one has reacted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you really my friend?
Yeah. It
So-
used to be like that as well. Like I would always check, when you put up a story, like 15 minutes later, how many people have seen it? And then you look at who are on that list, like who has seen it. Oh, he didn't react. Oh, she didn't react.
But it's like that. So, like, what you said was the perfect example. Like, let's say of dinner. You take a picture of your spread,
Yeah.
put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
You would start eating. Then we're like, oh, wait. Then mid-dinner, you would be like, oh, let me check it right now. And it's not right at the end of the
Yeah.
day, but totally depends on who you are as a person. So it was just for me personally. I don't want to make
Generalized
yeah,
thing
generalized
for everyone.
exactly.
Because again, it really depends. Like if your business revolves around social media, then go for it. Again, on the other hand, if social media makes you anxious, then you have to think of ways to balance it out.
Social media can be used really well. Like there's this ramen restaurant which I found out through social media.
Yeah.
Daikan.
Here. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So I'd never heard of it, and it was super exclusive. The way they promoted
Yes.
it, I felt like, whoa, I should try it because they had a pop-up.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I'm like, oh, where is this place? And I unfortunately never tried it, but the way that they marketed
Yeah.
made me want to try it even more.
Yeah. Now we know where we're gonna go for dinner tomorrow.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, but
Daikan.
having said all this, I don't know about you, Janine, but do you ever find yourself like constantly comparing yourself to people on social media?
I used to.
Okay.
I would follow a lot of beautiful women, a lot of beautiful men, and I would see a lot of beautiful relationships. And I'll be like, oh man, I wish I had, the same body as hers or the same hair as hers
Lifestyle,
or same
etc.
lifestyle, same relationship. Oh, they're so sweet together. Oh, I wish I could find a man who would do the same for me. Oh, I wish this and I wish that. And then you realize you're comparing your life so much to these strangers. And again, social media, it doesn't depict the whole story. Like you don't even know if whatever they're posting is real. It might be real, but it's not 100% their whole life. Like the backstory to that and whatever is going on in their real lives is not what they post on social media.
And even like what you said, it might be strangers or big time celebrities, but it can even happen to our friends.
Yeah.
Like let's say like me, for example, who's a burned out Dubai kid.
Yeah.
Born and raised, and then you see your friends who went to the exact same school as you, exact same college, but oh what, he has a hot wife, he has a sports car.
Yeah.
And that's when you start thinking, like, oh, why didn't I get the exact same thing? Then you have these self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Then you start to question everything, like, oh, maybe it's because I didn't get enough like study time in and all these things. So it can all boil down to that. It's not only for celebrities. That might be a big chunk, because when people, especially smaller girls or smaller or preteens, teenagers, they really do look up to certain kind of people and try to mimic their style, their lifestyle.
Yeah. That's why we have to be really careful as well with what we post, Like, for example, like my cousins, if they go through my Instagram, they're like, oh, ate, it's so nice. You always travel. You travel a lot. But that's because my feed is just exclusively, or like I would say 80 to 90% of my whole feed is for my travels. Like, and all of them are just accumulated pictures of my travels. And if you would look through my feed, you would say, oh, wow, this girl travels a lot. But that's not my whole life. I work X amount of hours every single day, and that feed is just a glimpse of my life.
So true. They don't know the backstory.
Yeah.
Like they don't know, like, oh, my visa got rejected the first time. Oh, I missed my flight. All these kind of things.
Or, oh, I took a budget flight to here. I took a budget hotel there. And you can only see like this wonderful photo of me, on the beach, wandering around.
The waterfall.
Yeah, like, oh, wow, it's so nice. But behind that, we've taken 20 photos, and I had to go through each one of them, criticizing like, oh, this one is, a little bit too far away. This one is a little bit too close, Oh, my body doesn't look so great here. Maybe this one, the angle is right.
Maybe I can Photoshop this
Maybe I can Photoshop this a little bit,
Give myself a bigger booty.
Yeah.
No,
maybe not. But there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and I'm not even even an influencer, so I wonder how much curation goes into, a real life influencer's Instagram feed.
Exactly, an Instagram model.
Yeah.
If she's like swipe up to check out this, like which picture is the perfect picture to actually lure people into that page or that product.
There's a lot of thought that's put behind all of those, and people don't really understand the whole work that goes behind it. There's a calendar to it. There's what time should we post about it? It's a whole job in itself.
Exactly. Most companies now in the UAE does have a social media department.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends, Ella, she used to do social media for some company here. Yeah. But she told me it's like things which I've never even heard of, like what you just said.
Yeah.
There's a certain time to post in a day.
Yeah.
And it changes with like seasons. So like during Ramadan, it's going to be
exactly
a different post because most of the Muslims are going to be fasting throughout the day.
Yeah.
So it's so much thought and effort goes into it. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
So it is actually a full-time job.
Yeah. And then people look at a certain feed and they're like, oh, what a wonderful life this person is living.
Exactly.
But it's not the real truth. It's not, I wouldn't say it's not true. It's not 100% true, because that's just a glimpse of their lives. And they have so much more to offer than what they're showing or what they're putting out on social media.
And you know what's funny? I just thought of this just right now.
Yeah.
And there are ways that social media companies are trying to make people realize it in another form of social media. So there's like a no makeup challenge. So it's again, okay, this is the real me, but again, I'm on social media. Yeah. So it starts a new trend. And then now there's that black and white
photo challenge
for women, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's another topic. Like social media on its own, again, it's not 100% true, because this whole black and white challenge was taken into a whole nother level. I mean, it's still talking about, women empowerment. And so basically, backtrack, how it is that a woman would tag you or send you a DM and say, I've chosen you as one of my 50 women who have inspired me in one way or another. And so to continue this chain trend, post a black and white photo on your feed with the hashtag challenge accepted, and then tag, another 50 women to do so. And so this just went so viral, I would say like just a few days back. And then looking into it, I think there was one influencer who posted about it, saying we need to understand what we're posting about and what this black and white challenge is all about.
Beautiful.
Because apparently it's all about, it started in Turkey. So there's currently a femicide, I'm not sure if that's the right word, that's happening in Turkey, wherein women are being killed. And the whole challenge started is because when a certain woman is killed, her photo will be printed on either the papers, will be published in black and white. Okay. And so it's like another woman died because of so-and-so reasons. And this is why they started the challenge or the trend, saying that they wanted to give awareness to what is currently happening in Turkey. The sad fact that women are being killed every single day. And at the end of the day, there'll just be another black and white photo of them printed.
Like this person is killed.
Exactly. This woman was killed, and they don't want her to be defined with just that black and white photo of her. And so anyway, this chain started and reached, worldwide, and women started taking it, and someone probably started putting it out there, removing the Turkish hashtags, and it became a women empowerment black and white photo challenge, which again comes from a good place. However, because
it was distorted in a way.
Distorted, and the origin of that post was taken into a different context, then it became, it became a little bit of a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it actually started as something to shed some light on a certain issue. It became, it fell into
on a very sad issue, and then it became a women empowerment challenge instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what you said was perfect at the beginning when you started all this. It's about being aware of what you're actually going to post.
Yeah.
So when you hear of all these challenges or something, just do some research, maybe find out why this person actually started this cause.
Yeah. Especially when you have a lot of followers.
100%, yeah.
Followers who are not just your immediate friends and family, and you start growing your reach, then you have to be more responsible of what you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you'll never know. You'll never know, like, if you post something that is not really true and someone else would see it and they'll be like, oh, maybe she's saying something right. And then they start, copying or doing the same thing, and then it'll just be a
downward spiral from there.
Downward spiral, yeah.
That's formulate your own opinion, guys.
Yeah.
Because everyone, especially big time celebrities, they always post something political or something about something serious that's going on in their world. Obviously, maybe not knowing the true facts and figures of everything. So do some research before you actually repost a story of someone like who's talking about global warming or anything like that.
Yeah.
So just always just be aware.
Yeah.
About whatever you're gonna say or whatever you post on social media, because that'll stick.
That's true.
Employers will see that. Friends and family will see that. And it'll always be there in the internet.
Yeah. So. 10 hours of usage, yo. And it's so easy to start reposting.
So easy.
Someone posted a wrong, information, and then someone else will repost and then repost and then repost. Gosh. Yeah. Because it's so easy.
It is.
You just add to your story or just share it to your profile. It's so easy. And that's the beauty of social media. Everything is just like one click away. Add a little bit of thought to what we put out there, I would say. Yeah.
I think another thing that also boils down into this is the time we spend individually. Because this is just a general nation average.
Yeah.
One person could be 2, one person could be 15. So the average will somehow be in the middle.
Yeah.
I used to just spend endless time on Instagram, even when driving. Okay, police, sorry. I should have not said that. Or like when I'm on the metro. Cancelled. Josh was cancelled. And the worst part was that most of my followers, when I did like a check before I actually deleted my Instagram account, not deleted, but logged off and signed out completely, deactivated it, sorry, was that like, okay, so I had a ratio. So like 1/3 of it was my friends and family. Let's say 1/4 was friends and family. Another 1/4 was tattoo artists, and the other 3/4, the 3/4 and the 4/4, unfortunately, was Instagram models.
Ooh, sexy Instagram models.
So I was just following pages day in, day out of Instagram models, and before I knew it, I was following at least 1,500 people.
Wow!
And can you imagine, like 2/4, like half of my following percentage was on Instagram models.
So around 700?
Yeah, around. Wow. And I did a full cleanup the other day. I'm like, what am I doing? Obviously, it's like eye candy in the moment.
Yeah.
But then when you realize, like, it's easy to unfollow someone.
Yeah.
And so when I got into that phase when I was just following girls left, right, and center, before I knew it, I was like, oh, wow, I don't even know these girls. These girls don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And what was I thinking? Like, did I think I could slide into their DMs or something? I don't know what was going on in my mind.
Hey, y'all. I'm Joshua from Dubai.
I live in Dubai. I drive a camel.
I drive a Maserati.
I can't even spell Maserati.
If you're ever here, just let me know.
BT Dubs, I tried your new T-Tox diet and amaze balls.
Let's hang out and have coffee soon, okay, girl?
Coffee.
XOXO.
I don't know why.
Now I know why you're following them. Girl, let's have some matcha tea latte.
And after we can do a spin class and then go for acai bowls. No, but again, I'm really sorry if I did offend anyone because I didn't want to make this sound like it's attacking a certain individual or a certain group.
Yeah.
But that's just how I felt. I did get my Instagram back, like I said, after a 8-month hiatus.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel?
To be honest, first few days I was like, I have to check my Instagram. First thing I do in the morning, check my Instagram.
Oh.
But then I always realized why I left it in the first place.
Yeah.
Especially when I meet new friends, like, such as your friends, or whenever I do have a comedy show or anything like that, and people are like, oh, you're really good. Can you let me know when your new dates are? What is your Instagram handle? And then I would say, oh, sorry, I'm actually off Instagram. Or like, oh, Facebook? I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm actually off social media. And to people, it sounds like I murdered someone.
Yeah.
Especially the reactions I used to get from people like, oh, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Like, people would think I was like hiding from the cops. Like, like, literally, I just murdered
something
someone.
Wrong.
and it's funny because, to me, I thought of it as a step towards my self-development and silencing those voices in my head, which always made me compare myself to others.
Yeah.
I don't think people are ready for it unless you're really self-aware of how much time you do spend on social media.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm off Instagram. Like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. On Samsung though, because Josh owns a Samsung and I do an iPhone. Do you have that, like the stats of which apps you've been
Instagram
using?
has an inbuilt one actually. I don't know on Samsung. I haven't explored that yet.
Okay. So explore your Samsung and let us know.
I will.
Get your life together.
Sorry, I'm an Android user, so it has so many more options than an iPhone. Android so that might take me a little bit of more time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, social media it's a very controversial topic, I think, that we really touched upon today.
Yeah. We've just scratched the surface of social media, I would say.
Barely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm fascinated by it. At the same time, I'm really scared of it.
Yeah.
Because it can go both ways for certain kind of individuals, especially if you're not aware. I think that's the one takeaway I want everyone to take out from today is being self-aware of what you actually do on social media.
Well, now that you're giving out advice, let's start with our handy advice. Is to set a limit on your phone. If you're an iPhone user, you can actually put up a time limit to either each of your app or your social media platforms in total. So what I have is that I have a 15-minute limit to my Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, basically all of my social media platforms accumulated. And if I want to use more than that, I would have to enter the passcode to my phone. And so it just makes you aware that, oops, you've already reached your limit. Do you still want to use more? Do you still want to extend your limit, your 15-minute limit, or that's it? And sometimes it's a conscious choice for you to say, actually, you know what? No, I don't want to. That's my time limit. I'm done. But sometimes I would be chatting with a family member. I would be sending a message to someone and I'll be like, you know what? Actually, I still want to extend that and use it. So, but at least it makes you aware and it makes you conscious that you've actually already spent your time that you've set for yourself. And it can be anywhere from an hour a day. Like, you don't have to be... I'm a little bit extreme with my 15 minutes a day.
I was just going to say,
Yeah, but you can go an hour or 2 hours maximum in a day. Depends on how much you've been spending. And then try to just decrease that more and more so,
Maybe a good rule of thumb in this case is for every iPhone user right now, check how much time you spend on an average. Yeah. And then we'll give you a challenge to maybe cut that down by half.
Yeah. Just try it. Try it for a week. And then see how it goes.
I'm sure you'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
It might be tough at the beginning, but I think once you get into that flow, it'll be really good.
And there's so much that you can do in that time that you're able to save from not looking into social media, guys. Like, you can read a book. You can learn a new sport. Josh loves sports.
Sports is my life.
Yeah.
I love chess.
Well, chess is a sport.
Chess is really good, yeah.
And just try it and see how that will affect your daily habits.
But you know what's scary as well?
What?
Like, let's say I do take up a sport, I do take up reading a new book or something.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is like just lurking at the corner. Like, I could be walking on a treadmill, like in the gym.
Yeah.
Open up my social media.
Yeah.
So maybe my handy advice would be more of an extreme challenge to everyone is to take a break for a month from social media.
Yeah.
The things I learned about myself during the time was really, really beneficial for me. Yeah. I did learn a lot about myself. I did become super aware of what I was doing. Now, every time I post something or every time I'm about to post something, I ask myself like certain questions like, will this benefit all your followers? Will you get a positive response from this? Do you think this might start a movement, or not even a movement? That's too extreme, but maybe trigger something in a person's mind when it comes to me posting something. And obviously, that's the reason why I came back to social media, because I learned my lesson and I'm going to come back stronger than ever when it comes to social media and push out good content, push out content that promotes this podcast, push out content that promotes myself.
Yeah.
And not just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Not just like a random picture of the clouds today. If it looks really good, maybe, then I would do it. But not like, oh, the sun is out, let's start this day and stuff. There's enough motivational speakers out there, and I'm pretty sure I'm never going to motivate anyone. Maybe not to a certain extent. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hard on myself, but
I'm sure you won't.
Thanks. Straight from the mouth of my co-host, guys.
No, but yeah, I mean, me too. Like, I am more aware of what I try to post on social media, especially if it's on my feed. If it's a story, it can be,
stories. Yeah, stories can be a little bit easier on yourself, but a post is going to be always there.
Yeah,
people can see who liked it.
Yeah,
people can see who commented. So it's more exposed to everyone.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so
that's your handy advice.
That's my handy advice. And that's the bottom line of it, guys, is you control your social media. Don't let the social media control you.
True.
But that saying actually works with anything. If you're in the gym, you control the weights. Don't let the weights control you.
Ooh.
So I'm just like playing with that phrase. I think it's still relevant to anything and everything.
Use it to your advantage. If it gives you anxiety, get out of it. If it gives you joy, then stay in it, Go through it, post. As long as you don't post something that would affect someone else in a negative form, just do it.
Yeah, don't badmouth anyone, guys. If you want to settle a dispute between something, just take it up personally. Don't make your problem everyone's problem.
Yeah,
true. And
don't put it out there. Don't put your smelly laundry out to hang and for everyone to feast on.
That's so cute.
Not that I would love to feast on smelly laundry, but sometimes I would love a little bit of drama as well. But kidding aside, keep your dramas at bay. Keep it private. Yeah.
So having said that, you can follow us at
While we're on the topic of social media,
guys. No, but like we're using it to promote this podcast, and this is the way that Janine and I found the best way to share our story.
Yeah.
Through a podcast, and obviously our means of advertising it is going to be through social media. We want to reach a wide audience. We want to reach our friends and family. So I think it'll be a good way for you guys to get alerts, reminders, or even find a way to contact us if you want us to speak about something.
Yes, please. And just slide into our DMs, guys, if there's anything that you want us to know. If you would like to give us a review, if it's a good one, if it's a bad one, we'll take it.
We're pretty relaxed people. We take constructive criticism relatively well.
Even if it's not constructive criticism, because I'm sure a lot of other people would just like to say something negative. So, as Joshua was saying, follow us on Instagram at Have a Nice Day Podcast. And you can send us your emails, your reviews, your comments, whatever you want to send us, your questions as well, if you want any advice from us.
Or something that you really liked in the podcast as well. You can even thank us. We like being thanked.
Yeah, or appreciated.
But we love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Sorry, we didn't mention our email, but it's haveanicedayshow@gmail.com. And you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. on Stitcher or anywhere you stream your podcasts from. So on that note, everyone,
have a nice day.